top of the morning to every one of you. Before starting, I would like to ask, how are you today? If you're feeling good, please raise your hand high. Good to know. So many of my friends and family here probably know me, but for those who don't, I want to introduce a bit about myself. About 5 years ago, I used to participate in a nationalized cooking show, Masterchef Junior Vietnam, and I was lucky enough to get into the top 6 finalists and got myself featured on the cover of a teen magazine. Here it is, and also a commercial campaign for a dairy company in Vietnam. Many of my friends, to family members, to strangers who found me on Facebook, congratulated me, saying I should be proud for such accomplishment during a young age. I was really proud of myself too. But then people start to joke about it. They start to make memes out of my pictures. And I just remembered all the laughs and all the "can you cook for me" question in such a teasing voice. I was deeply ashamed, deeply. And it should have been a prideful moment of my life that shall forever be cherished. But instead, I saw it like as if it was a dark chapter of my life. Until the very last year, in one of my psychology lessons, which has completely changed my mindset. It is when I was introduced to the concept of compliance. Compliance is basically when individuals adjust their behaviors and opinions toward the majority in order to gain acceptance or avoid any disapproval. So this is caused by normative social influence, where the desire to fit into the group leads to the pressure of changing your own behaviors and opinion. This is usually public but not private. And I realized that I was scared of being different, as not many of my friends are participating in such events. So I just think that I want to be liked and not being ridiculed. So I think the best way is to compromise with them. And that is why I start to reject myself. I start to reject everything I did. And compliance can come in different forms too. So at the very beginning, I asked you a very simple question, and most of you raised your hand. But how many of you are actually feeling good? Maybe you had a bad breakfast. Maybe it's just a bad weather that is bringing you down. And you still raise your hand since the person who is sitting next to you raised his or her hand, and so did most of the people in this room. It just creates a norm to answer such a personal question that way. And compliance can also occur in our monogamy patterns when it comes to our life, work, and overall our existence. We put our brain on autopilot every day, going to work, then head home, make dinner, maybe binge a little bit of Netflix before going to bed so that you can repeat everything the very next day. And to a certain point of our life, we will all take our loan to buy a car, a home, and spend half of our life trying to pay off those debts. Sure, our everyday clothes and the food we eat are different, but we don't take small little steps towards significant life change. To a certain extent, compliance has its own benefits. It's helped to point out what behavior is seen as desirable and what is not. It's create a safety net to making everything easier for everyone. And after all, it just feels better when you just fit in somewhere, right? But here comes the bad one. I, myself, as a formation, I was so proud of myself. But then I start to feel ashamed of myself, and I even refused to believe that I was participating in Masterchef Junior Vietnam. And I have lost my individuality, and I believe so do others. These unwritten rules of society are restricting us from trying new things, exploring ourselves, and realizing our full potential. Let's bring in another psychology concept, shall we? the Maslow hierarchy of needs. So the Maslow hierarchy of needs is basically a theory explaining the human motivations in terms of the pursuit of different levels of needs. As you can see, there are 5 levels here. So we think that we might have reached level 4, which is the self-esteem level, as we are gaining acceptance from others. But the truth is, we are losing. We don't accept ourselves. And that's why we are missing and unable to reach the top of the hierarchy, the self-actualization. So self-actualization is a peak state of existence that any individuals can attain, which is realizing their full potential. We all have an innate drive to achieve our full potential, but not many of us can do so. When we are so scared of being ridiculed and pressured to fit the perfect image, how can we possibly try different things in different areas, learning what we are good and bad at, and so realizing our full potential? We are living in such a strange time where there are good and bad, but there are also lots of things in between. Now, if you choose to believe it or not, now is the time for us to just stop a moment, just pause, and rethink the core character of ourselves. This is called, we can start small by seeking for the values in everything we do. In everything we do, instead of letting stuff fall into our life, have more control of our thoughts, stop making actions, and act with real intent. There are people who are doing just fine with their 9-to-5 jobs, but there are some who don't enjoy these routines. It's fine. It's such a cliche, but the key is just be yourself and don't be afraid of being different. This will help to create a new resource development agenda where your own distinct, innate capabilities and potential are efficiently utilized and maximized. Thank you so much.